Hi, Claire.
Hi, Nicole.
Welcome to our podcast recording in regards to health at Federation TAFE. I'd like to acknowledge, first of all, the traditional custodians and pay our respect to the elders past, present and emerging.
I think we should talk about why you'd want to come to Federation University for TAFE.
Good idea.
So what do you hear students say about Fed TAFE?
I've heard things like from our current students and past that we did a really good job at getting online around the COVID changes. That was really great feedback.
Yeah.
What have you heard?
I really like being out in the bush. It makes me feel like I'm connected to something. So when I get to come out on campus, there's always parking, and I feel like I love going to the Ararat and Wimmera campuses too as a teacher. So it's actually really nice for me to meet different students and I really enjoy the different changes with students. Like there's young students, there's older students, there's married students, there's students with kids, there's students from a whole diverse backgrounds, and I think that's awesome for me as a teacher. I think I learn something new every day at work. How about you, Nicole?
I love working here too, Claire, and I love teaching. We both come from pediatric backgrounds, so we've actually crossed paths in other worlds. But just helping people on that journey has been really satisfying for me.
Yeah. I think students really like that there's actually no exams. I think that's been a bit of a bonus.
True.
In the Diploma of Nursing, it's actually a 2-year course, and there's actually no exams, and there's not a lot of essay writing per se. It's actually a lot of the hands-on learning, which actually I find that students actually really enjoy that, and actually means that they come out employable and ready to work. That's actually a really good thing about TAFE programs as well. So if you're not too sure whether this is what you want to go through, I think it's probably important to actually start thinking about and talking to people that are in industry and having those conversations about, I always wanted to be a nurse, how do I go about getting there? I really like the hands-on learning approach that we actually have with TAFE. So a lot of it's actually that whole learning collaboratively with each other. So we learn from each other, and that whole active learning is a really important part of adult learning, and I think that actually we do that really well in TAFE. The assessment stuff is really great in TAFE. There's no exams and there's no large essay writings, which is absolutely awesome for those of us that have been out of education for a long time or have never really enjoyed that part of being at school. So if I was a 17-year-old that was struggling at school, TAFE would very much be a really good opportunity to actually get those skills together and actually have that supportive environment to actually learn. And I think that's part of the really important part of TAFE. Our students come out work ready and actually employable. They have a lot of industry experience. We actually use lots of currency with and work a lot with people that actually are working in industry, and that means that our students that go out on placement and actually do clinical hours actually come out work ready and actually practiced those skills in the lab first and then go out onto clinical placement and be supported to be successful in that. And I suppose that's part of a really important part of TAFE and TAFE learning. The other thing that's really great here that, that is a little bit different about Federation is actually beautiful environment out here at Mount Helen. I love being out in the bush, and it smells so nice when it's been raining. That's part of me being happy at work. There's also lots of parking, which is great too. Easy to find, not too far out of town, a nice welcoming environment, which actually is great for me. And I think if I feel comfortable in my environment, then I'm ready to learn as a learner myself, because, both of us are super nerds that are still studying as well, because that's what we do. You never do enough learning. We have actually all very much committed to our lifelong journey of education, and I learn something new every day, and I actually learn a lot from my students too.
What supports are there, Claire?
Yeah, actually that's another really important part. Thanks, Nicole, for reminding me about that. There's actually a disability liaison unit which actually looks at diverse learning for students and actually looks at student-specific learning requirements and actually sets up plans of study to actually ensure success, because they actually want people to be really successful with their education and their career goals. And I think that that's actually a really nice part about TAFE. The other thing is there's actually scholarships for costs that are specific for TAFE students, which is great to actually support them to be successful. There's TAFE student support officers specific on each campus, which is great to ensure success. There's counselling available. There's also lots of library resources as well too. There's a medical centre here as well. There's also the gym if you're into that sort of thing. Maybe I should be into that sort of thing, Nicole, but haven't quite gone there yet. But
Next year.
yeah, we'll wait until after COVID. That's my excuse anyway. The other thing that's really important is that we're actually really available to our students, and that's actually a really nice comment that we get from students over and over again, is actually students need to actually talk to somebody. They can actually email.
So good responsiveness.
Yeah, we
great.
actually email back or we call back, or students feel comfortable to come and actually tell us what's been happening, or come to us nice and early so they can get that support to be successful. That's probably a big difference. There's also LLN support available as well too, and there's actually tutor opportunities and things like that as well too. And yeah, we can actually always point you in the right direction if you come nice and early. We can actually make things available to you, and actually there's reasonable adjustment and things like that as well too. Great. I suppose as you were saying, when you've done the certificates in individual support, that actually can lead on to the Diploma of Nursing, because there are a few units I know they're completely transferable.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So where can I work if I do that?
So the Diploma of Nursing is actually a 2-year course, and when I think about anywhere that a nurse can work, it could be an enrolled nurse.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely really awesome. The scope of nursing is forever increasing. I suppose as a nurse, I think it's just awesome, because you can actually think about anywhere nurses can work. They can work in research, they can work in communities, they can work in hospitals, they can work in aged care homes, they could work in acute care settings, they can work anywhere. And that's actually the awesome thing about nursing. So there's so many different areas that you can work in within nursing, and I think anywhere that a nurse can work, it could be an enrolled nurse. Obviously the difference is that they often work under the RN in some places. So they'll never be in charge of the unit, for example, of the emergency department. But obviously if you do the enrolled nursing Diploma of Nursing, then you actually go into the second year of the Bachelor of Nursing, which is the RN program. And because we do offer both programs, the Diploma of Nursing and the Bachelor of Nursing at Federation University. So you can actually go from the enrolled nursing into the second year of the Bachelor and actually be working as a nurse and getting an income while you're studying as well too. And we've got a number of students that do that and actually find that they weren't quite ready to go on to higher education straight away, but have come on and done the enrolled nursing course, the Diploma of Nursing, and think that's absolutely awesome, and have gone on to do their Bachelor of Nursing. And a number of students see that as a career path.
What sort of costs are associated with the diploma?
Okay, so the cost itself, there is a fee associated with, obviously there's a fee to actually do the program, and that's actually just a materials cost fee. So at the moment it's about $250. And that's actually have all those material fees that you will need. There's also some books associated with that, but you'll need to actually look at where they're actually at. There's also, you need to be fit for placement requirements. So you'll need to make sure the immunisations are up to date, and that you have, and you might have some costs associated with serology testing and things like that. You'll also need to have a police check, but don't run out and get it now if you're going to apply next year, because you'll need your police check for the year that you're actually going on placement. So wait till you get on next year. No, and that's part of those requirements.
So do I run out in these courses and organise my own placement, or how does that go about?
No, we've actually got a dedicated TAFE placements team. So you'll actually think about getting your documentation together, and that's your responsibility as adult learners to get your documentation together and upload it onto a platform, and they'll actually organise placements for you. And there's obviously learning requirements when you're on placement and things like that, and some assessment component as that as well too. So you need to show me your skills. At the moment it's a priority course, so I think the Victorian government are looking at where our needs are and where our needs are for workers in the future. And obviously nursing is one of those ones where and health is always going to be an industry where they're looking for people to recruit into. You're always going to have a job. Yeah.
Good to hear.
So that's one of the big things with the Diploma of Nursing that might be a little bit different. We tend to do a lot of online learning. What else do? We do a lot of in the lab learning.
So there is a hands-on approach. Both courses have a hands-on kinesthetic type approach, as well as an online approach addressing all visual, auditory and kinesthetic learners, which is a really great holistic platform in reaching all of our students. And as you've mentioned already, there can be of all age groups, ranging from straight out of year 11 all the way through to, mid-50s. We've had up towards 60 people that have always wanted to have worked in health. finally have that opportunity, everything aligns for them in life, and then they enrol and have a go.
Okay.
So can you tell me a bit about the criteria, Claire, around free TAFE?
You need to be an Australian resident or New Zealand citizen, or a permanent resident within Australia. And I think they're looking mostly for Victorians, thinking because it is funded by Victorian government. It's actually available to people that are upskilling, and there's certain criteria around that, but you can certainly look up priority TAFE on the government website, Department of Education, and it could be people that are looking to change their careers. Okay, so we do have, there are some compliance stuff around that, and you do actually have to have an LLN requirement that suggests that you're going to be successful to actually go out and work in the industry. Okay, so if I wanted to apply, where would I go to from here, Nicole? If I was thinking about finding some more information about this.
So we do have a live online chat that'll be taking place on the open day, the online open day, where we'll have teachers like Claire and I that'll be able to, from different campuses, be able to answer your questions. Or who could I contact directly, Claire?
Oh, I suppose we could go to our program coordinator, and that's Barb. She's our program support officer, and you can go to, and you can actually find her through the Federation website. You can actually go to marketing online and actually go to students. If you go to the Fed Duty website and click onto students and to enrol, the information is there and easily available. Okay. Hopefully we get to see you guys next year.
See you soon.
Bye.